get right into that right now. We're going to have Mark Elkins come up. We're going to talk about the 530 grid and that system. Hey, while Mark is coming up here, we're passing out 3x5 cards. Here's what this is all about. On the first part where it has the lines, put your name at the top, right underneath it. Okay, here we go, 3x5 card. Name at the top. Put your biggest challenge right underneath it. Biggest challenge right underneath it. Name and biggest challenge, flip it over, and we're going to do a movie testimonial, like 2 thumbs up. Like what happened today that was really impactful to you. Short, sweet, to the point. Kevin King is the most attractive man I've ever met in my life. Write that down, bring it up to me, and you'll make my day. You'll be lying, but that's okay. It'll make my day, right? So that's all we're trying to do. Movie testimonial on the back. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mark Elkins. He's going to do the 530 grid for us here.
Yay, Mark! Can you tell what personality type I am? Maybe not. But I love this 530 grid. Repetition, for those of you who've heard me say it before, but this is probably, in business, one of the simplest constructs that you're going to find. And if you step into it, it is one of the most complex things. 10 minutes is too much time, and 10 minutes is not enough time. And let me explain that quickly. If you look at this as a map, and you fly overhead, you can see all of the squares. And each of these represents an area: marketing, pre-sales, the sale, servicing, and client for life. And each of those have different specifics. And as you fly down towards the city, you can see them with greater detail. And as you land and walk around in each square block of the city, you can see all the detail: the people, the faces, the street lights, the sidewalk, right?
Yeah, excuse me, I didn't want to interrupt, but it's on page 3 of your handout, because it's, I don't know if you're like me, it's kind of hard to see that. Page 3 of your handout. You're doing a great job. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
So you'll be able to see all of the detail in the street if you step into each block. But today, I want to emphasize the parts of the grid that are going to get you greater and better, more and better leads. Okay? Area 1 marketing is where we concentrate on that. And every business needs leads. If you don't have leads, if you don't have anybody to sell to, it's like winking in the dark. You know what you're doing, but nobody else does. Right?
What?
Write that one down.
Winking in the dark.
Winking in the dark.
Dude,
I've also heard that somebody said it'd be like wetting your pants in a dark suit.
Yeah.
You get a warm feeling, but nobody else knows. And the first thing you have to do is box 1. Box 1 is identify targets, right? So who are you going to sell your great idea or your product to? Now you know some people, so box 1 is to identify them. Who do you actually know? Who do you meet on the street? Who do you meet in the things that you do that might be a target for your business, and assemble that into a list. Box 2, you have to develop and deliver a message. What is it you're going to say about the thing you got? You know everybody. Gee, if I didn't tell all of you today, how many of you actually know what it is that I do? I see 2 or 3 hands going up. The rest of you don't know. So if I didn't tell you that I help people learn how to invest in real estate, the rest of you wouldn't know, because I'm up here talking, but I did not develop and deliver my message as I just did. That's box 2. And how can we develop and deliver a better message that reaches more people? That's critically important. Box 3, group, people, and messages. We learned about personalities from Wade. Different people will understand different kinds of messages differently, right? So if I'm selling to an analytical person, I've got to give them a chart. I've got to give them a map. And I learned about somebody here in this group who is an expressive, amiable personality. And they took advantages of my services. Why? Because I grouped them into a particular type of message. I talked about how much fun it was going to be and how many new people we were going to be able to meet, form friendships, and help out. I specified my message based on that person. I found now that I can find analytical people, and I've got a chart, so I can group those people. I also group people based on income factors if I know them. There are other factors that you've all heard of, demographics, things that Peter has talked about in his big win. He was talking about Facebook and how you group those people, fans of certain things that you can target. Those are ways to target, and you know how to group those messages. Box 4, measuring your results. Now, if you send out a message and nobody says anything about it, well, then what have you got? You know that you have not gotten the good leads. If you measure results and you see that certain kinds of people have stuck up their hand and said, yeah, I want information about what you got, now you know what kinds of leads you'll be able to get, because if you target that particular person with that particular message, people who are like them, you will get more leads based on that information. Box 5, personality-based marketing. I mentioned that a moment ago. I was able to take advantage of understanding how people think. I was able to help the amiable, expressive person based on what it is that they think, and the analytical. I know how to attract the driver now. I understand, based on what Wade was talking about, the personalities, and can target those messages. And dollar results marketing. If I get sales, I know that those things are working. And I can build my leads and I can build my marketing based on my results in dollars. But there are more things in the 530 grid that will help you to get greater and better leads. One of the best ones, one of my favorites here, is in Area 4 servicing, box 12. Feed into successes. This is my favorite. Edward, you got involved with my business.
Yes.
Have you had any successes in working with my business in Renatus?
Yes.
Have you made any money?
Yes.
You like the group?
Oh, yeah.
It's learning about real estate. You have 30 years of experience in real estate. Even though you all have all that knowledge, did you learn things, and are you learning more things?
One 20-minute segment will pay for the whole course forever.
Well, there you have it. I have just used somebody else's success to feed back into my business. And now maybe that will make enough of an impression on some of you that you'll be more interested in my business. But I use that kind of information when I sell and when I develop and deliver messages, right? So that I can grow my leads. And those leads become better leads because they now have additional information that they didn't have before because I used box 12 successes. Box 3, I track my leads. It's interesting to watch my messages in my email as they go out. I watch my leads, we count how many people click through, and we see what types of message are attracting the people who are in my database. And once we find out that, we then send messages that target those people specifically because we're able to go back to box 3 and group them. So throughout the 530 grid, you're continuing to develop more and more ways to build better leads. When you have a customer, how many of you have customers already? How many of you actively, this is box 7, actively ask your existing customers who else might be interested in your services or product? I see 2 hands, 3. There's a 4th, okay, you're thinking about it. So the rest of you, what are you doing? You have customers, you just do business with them and forget about the people that they know. John, you're now advising businesses. Do those business people know other business people?
Yes.
Have you asked them to say, hey, who else do you know might like to take advantage of this service?
I haven't.
Well, if they're thinking that your service is good, and you know they do because they're continuing to pay you to do it because you're in servicing area 4, wouldn't they like to tell their friends about what a great job you're doing and how it's helping them?
Yeah, they have actually.
Okay, and have you asked them who those people are so that you can call them and make a connection?
Well, I've met with them.
Okay, well then we're asking for referrals and we're developing more and better leads. And the deeper we get into the 530 grid, the more we build our leads. So each one of these boxes doesn't build leads in a vacuum. It builds leads in the middle of my metaphorical city that we're flying down into. And it compounds from block to block to block. And each of these blocks continues to expand your ability to grow your leads. I'm wondering if there's anything in particular I've forgotten that I'd like to mention on this. Well, I've covered a lot of the things that are going to build your leads and expand them block to block to block. And each one compounds, which will expand your business. I may have a moment for a question, if there are any. Thank you very much.
Excellent job, Mike.